Hey up everybody, my name is Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence. Now, you might hear in a job interview, say if you've gone for a job interview in the last 50 years, you go in there and you sit down and you talk a little bit. It's like, what makes you think you're qualified for this position, blah, 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 blah. And you do your best to sort of bungle your way through the interview. And then they get to that question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And a lot of us, when we get that question, kind of don't really know. We have vague ideas on what we want to do in 5 years, but not enough to give some kind of concrete answer, right? So I figured what I would do in this video is I would tell you what I wanted to be, where I wanted to be 5 years ago, whether I got there now, and what I want to be in 5 years from now, and whether I think I'm actually going to get there, right? So I wrote in I had an old journal, right? And basically every couple of years, I had this list of like little details that were like, what am I doing at the moment? Where do I work now? Am I in a relationship? That kind of thing. Do I still smoke? Do I still drink? That kind of stuff, right? And for the first few of them, it would always be like, I'm working in a warehouse. I'm engaged to this woman. Now I'm married. You know, I'm with this woman, you know. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it all looked like it was the same trajectory. Nothing was going upwards, nothing was, you know, cultivating towards something, right? It was always just the same plateau, but different sort of layers of the plateau, you know? It's like an onion that you'd sort of like, you'd slice the onion and you just flattened out every single layer and just piled all the layers on one on top of the other. Or just like arrange them in a row. That's what it sort of felt like, right? You know, I was smoking 10 years ago and I'm still smoking now, right? And 5 years from now, I'd like to quit smoking. Just like how 5 years ago, I wanted to have quit smoking 5 years in the future. And yet here I am still smoking, right? So I'm constantly setting goals, failing to achieve them, creating new goals, failing to achieve those. And it's just the same sort of cycle, right? And I think the issue isn't so much with failure, it's more with constantly pressuring yourself to be something that you're not, constantly trying to force yourself into some arrangement where you force yourself from point A to point B, right? Now, obviously, as life goes on, changes will happen in your life, and you don't want to just be, passive throughout your life. You obviously want stuff to happen because of your assertiveness, and not just have the life happen to you, you know? You don't want to just fall into every position you ever get. You don't want to just fall into different relationships and just, you are where you are because that's where people have dragged you. You want to do stuff of your own accord. And to do that, you need some level of assertiveness. But I don't think that you should be pressuring yourself to do things that you don't want to do if there's no intrinsic benefit, if there's no, you know, reason for you to be doing it. Other than avoiding negativity, like none of us really want to go to work. There's that idea, do people want to work? And it's like, well, I want to do work that's meaningful to me, but right now, the job that I'm working at, do I want to get up and go there at 9 AM? Not massively, right? But I do like the money that comes from it, right? So I will go to work. However, the long-term plan is to be able to wean off of doing this kind of work and start doing my own self-employed freelance stuff with regard to videography and photography and stuff like that, which is where my true passions are. So I want 5 years from now to be doing that kind of stuff and be living off of that stuff full time. But you know what? 5 years ago, I had the same dream and I was just pushing myself to try and be in that position, right? And as life goes on, you will constantly push yourself and push yourself and push yourself to be something that you're not, because you like this idealized version of yourself, right? My idealized version of myself is someone who doesn't drink, someone who doesn't smoke, someone that's selfless, someone that cares about the people around them and is able to have the facilities to help those that are around them to do better than what they could do otherwise. I want to be a safety net, not just for people like in general, but also I don't want to be someone who's just like a punching bag or just like someone who can be trampled all over. I want to stand up for myself more. I want to be able to tell someone who deserves it to fuck right off, right? I want to have that kind of thing to me. So, you know, it makes me think that's a lot to want to do. It's a lot of aspiration, right? And I'm constantly aspiring to be things, right? And you know, if it's all well and good to aspire and to make plans and to write lists for yourself of dreams that you want to get and want to achieve, and it's all well and good to pursue these things. However, pursuit in the face of denial, right? Where it just sort of feels like it's futile, you're just doing this stuff, right? And you have the end goal in sight and you're doing things that you think are these steps towards it. But realistically, it's steps like this. When realistically you need steps like this. You need to be worming your way up closer to your goals, not just doing the same thing. You know, you don't want to write the same opening line of the fucking book again and again and again with different punctuation in different places with slightly different wording. It's a dark, stormy night. It's a night time and it's thundering. The moon's out and it's fucking raining all the time. Same shit, different fucking night. You're writing the same thing, but you're never progressing through the book, right? When you want to write the whole book and then you want to format it and then you want to get it published. But if you're just going to sit there and focus on that first line, you're never going to get anywhere. You're just going to continue to think that you're doing stuff because you're writing that first line again and again. You've got this illusion of productivity without actually getting stuff done. So when I think about where I want to be in 5 years, I don't really know. I know where I want to be 1 month from now, very, very vividly, because I can take active steps to achieve that. And it's a difference between me being lazy and me being productive compared to, say, where I want to be in 5 years, where I don't have absolute full control of that. Because I'm not completely in belief of free will. I'm a fairly deterministic person. And in part of that, I feel like there's circumstances that will come around that are going to come around regardless, and all I can do is try my best. I don't think it's completely deterministic. I think there's ability to do stuff within your best ability and to do things, you know, and force yourself into situations that you're not necessarily comfortable with, but that need to be done. But at the same time, I do feel like what happens is what's going to happen. If you want to call that fate, you can call it fate, but I'm not airy-fairy about it like that. I just feel like the path of life is going to go on, and all you can do, like the train of life is going to go on, and all you can do is try not to stop at every single station. You're on the bus of life, right? And you don't want to press the bus stop fucking button every single time and get the bus to stop at every single stop. You want to stop at the nice stops, right? And get off at like Yorker and just have a little look around and just go, it's nice here in Yorker. And then you move on to the next fucking place. But you don't want to get off at every single stop because then you're not going anywhere, right? And at the same time, you don't want to just skip every stop because then you're not really engaging with life. It's all well and good to fucking grind set your way through life, but then you're not really engaging with life. You're not having any fun. You're not going out and meeting people. You're not doing anything that you actually enjoy. You're not creating experiences for yourself. You're just working all the time, right? And like, I'm someone that works a lot, right? So I'm not saying this from a place of laziness, but there comes a point when you need to put work to one side and put some level of hedonism to the forefront. Otherwise, there is no point in existing. If you're just working for this endless future that's always getting further away because your goals are constantly shifting, because new circumstances are constantly coming around that put you back where you started, right? In this metaphor, writing the book, maybe you're writing it as fast as you can, like trying to get to the end of it, but then bam, all sorts of things can happen. Your hard drive gets corrupted, the pages get burnt, you realize that the book's kind of a load of shite and you need to start again. Or someone releases a book that's exactly the same thing as you, so you need to kind of do it again. All different things can happen in this sort of game of life, right? And all you can do is try and keep up with it the best you can and try and write the best book that you possibly can write. Because say if you get to the end of this book and you publish it and it does really well, right? That means that you've succeeded and you want to succeed, you want to do well. I presume that you want to succeed in life. No one wants to fail, right? But at the end of the day, we can't all be fucking millionaires. We can't all be sitting on a beach in fucking the Philippines or whatever, sipping a martini and looking out over a beach while we sit on a laptop doing bugger all, but like it's because of capitalism, it means something. Like, I don't know, you're looking at graphs and sending emails on a fucking laptop and stuff happens because of it. We can't all do that or the world wouldn't function. We need some people to be doing dead-end shit jobs. We need people to be working in Sainsbury's, otherwise I'm never going to be able to go to Sainsbury's. We need people to be working in the plumbing field because otherwise no one's going to get their pipes done, right? These are all trades that people need to learn. It's all stuff that people need to get done because the world needs to spin on its axis, right? And society needs to keep waking up and going to sleep every single day, right? And all we can do is try and find our place within that, right? And we're constantly searching for it. Either we found it and we know our calling, or we need to find our calling, right? I feel like I have found my calling, right? Which means I know what book I want to write. I know exactly what kind of book it is, and I know how to write it. I just need to write it. And if you haven't found your calling yet, if you're still a little bit lost and you don't know exactly what to do, maybe you want a career change, you want to write a book, but you don't necessarily know what it is in this metaphor. So all you need to do is figure out what that book is, right? So where did I want to be 5 years ago? Well, I wanted to start a business. I wanted to make money off of freelance. I wanted to have plenty of money in the stock market so that I could get stuff done there. And I wanted to have enough money saved up so that I could buy a house by now, right? And I wanted to quit smoking. And as you can see, none of those things happened. I don't own a house. I don't run a successful business. I still smoke. I did quit drinking. So I've done something right. So progress has happened, but progress has been a lot slower than I like, right? Everything always takes longer than you think it's going to take, right? And I suppose in 5 years from now, a lot of it's basically the same. I want to start a business in videography, which was the same as what I wanted to do 5 years ago. I want to buy a house, get enough money for a mortgage, and you know, support my girlfriend, who I hope to marry, and then have some kids, and then be able to support them, and maybe have a job in marketing as like a day job, and I can just do that from home, and then do like freelance photography stuff on the side, maybe a couple of events, that kind of thing. And I'd like to quit smoking, right? I probably won't do all of those things, but I might do one of them. And as long as I keep pushing myself to do a lot, even if I don't get all the way there, because I've pushed myself, I feel like I will do more than I would have done if I set my expectations really low. And that's the key, is just to try as best you can. And even if you don't get there, you've made it some of the way. Probably more of the way than if you set your expectations to naught. Right? If I just said to myself, I just want to doss about all fucking day and, just sit back and just smoke weed, watch the fucking Family Guy all day, then I could easily achieve that dream, right? Easily I could achieve that, but that's not a life worth living. That's not something that I want to engage with. It's not worthwhile. I'm not adding to society. I'm not fulfilling myself in the long term or the short term, right? I'm just doing now because it's easy. And it's very easy to do what's easy. That's why it's easy, right? So where do you want to be in 5 years? Because I know, and I'm still not achieving it. Do you know? Are you going to achieve it? And if you don't know, do you know how to get to the steps to figure out what you want to do in 5 years? Do you even understand what that means, like in a literal sense, or is this whole video just nonsense? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and tell me where you want to be in 5 years.